subscribe to my YouTube channel, because what you're about to hear isn't just a drama. It's a roller coaster of rebirth, betrayal, and the wildest twist of fate you could imagine. The first time I died, I didn't cry. Not because I was brave. I was just empty. Imagine giving your whole heart to a family that never truly saw you. A life where you were always second best. Always the unwanted one. My name, Shen Qingyan, the forgotten daughter of the Shen family, trampled on by my wicked stepsister, Shen Mengqi, who wore a mask of sweetness in front of the world, but stabbed me 1,000 times behind closed doors. And my own stepmother, she made sure every knife landed just right. I never stood a chance. Not when Shen Mengqi framed me for theft. Not when she manipulated my father into signing away my inheritance. And especially not when she threw herself at the 3 most powerful brothers in the city. The Ye brothers, the legendary trio of CEOs. Everyone believed her lies. Everyone thought I was the jealous petty one. Even the Ye brothers, Ye Linzhou, Ye Shichen, and Ye Yuyan, looked at me with disgust the day I was kicked out of the Shen family and blacklisted by the Ye group. But fate is funny, because just when I thought everything was over, just when I lay on that cold hospital bed, breathing my last breath, I opened my eyes, and I was back, 5 years earlier, before the betrayal, before the humiliation, before my life was stolen. And this time, I wasn't playing the quiet, obedient Shen Qingyan anymore. Something was different, very different. I didn't just return with memories of the future. I came back with something more, a strange power, a gift, or maybe curse. Because now the Ye brothers, those same powerful men who once turned their backs on me, they can hear me. Not I never stood a chance. Not when Shen Mengqi framed me for theft. Not when she whispered lies into my father's ear. And definitely not when she seduced the heir of the Liu family. My fiancé. Everyone turned their backs on me. My father threw me out of the house with nothing but the clothes on my back. Shen Mengqi stood by the doorway, smiling sweetly, waving my engagement ring on her finger. I was the disgrace. She was the perfect daughter. And when I finally lost my life in that accidental fire in the Shen family villa, no one cared. But fate had other plans. When I opened my eyes again, I was back, reborn, in the same body, the same world, but now, with memories of everything that had happened, the betrayal, the schemes, the heartbreak. I swore this time I would never be the quiet one. I wouldn't kneel. I wouldn't beg. And this time, they'd regret ever underestimating me. But there was something else. A strange power awakened with me. It started subtly at first. A passing whisper. A voice that didn't come from any mouth. Until I realized I could hear thoughts. But not just anyone's. Only theirs. The 3 brothers who controlled almost everything in this city. The Liu family's eldest son, Liu Yeshen, the cold, distant CEO with eyes like frost. The second brother, Liu Yuhan, sharp-tongued, arrogant, but with a strange kindness behind the cruelty. And the youngest, Liu Yexuan, a genius in tech, quiet, low profile, but hiding secrets deeper than oceans. They were powerful, ruthless, and totally out of reach. In my last life, I had feared them. Now, I could hear the truth behind their perfectly calm faces. I could hear their hearts. At first, I didn't know what to do with this. Liu Yichen, for instance, would stare at me with indifference, but in his thoughts, why is my heart beating faster when she walks by? And Liu Yuhan, He snapped at me during a company presentation. Yet inside he was panicking. Why did she look sad when I raised my voice? Even Liu Yexuan, who never spoke more than 3 sentences to anyone, would glance at me from behind his laptop and quietly think, she's not like them. She's hiding pain. They didn't realize it, but I was slowly seeing who they truly were. Not just CEOs in suits, but men with scars, burdens, and hearts capable of love and loyalty. And the more I listened, the more I understood. They hated Shen Mengqi. They never trusted her. In fact, Liu Yichen had once caught her trying to plant fake evidence against another company. But for the sake of family ties and public image, they kept silent. Until now. Because this time, I wasn't silent. Shen Mengqi still played her perfect little role. She smiled in front of the cameras. She acted like she was helping poor sister Qing Yan get back on her feet. But I saw her thoughts. Let her rise a little, then I'll crush her even harder. She hadn't changed. If anything, she had become more vicious. She thought I was the same fool she trampled on before. But what she didn't know was, the Liu brothers were beginning to believe me, not because of what I said, but because of what I did. I saved Liu Yexuan from a hacking trap she had secretly planted. I exposed a fake tender, Shen Mengqi, sent under Liu Yuhan's name. I stood up to Liu Yixin when he wrongfully blamed an assistant, and he later found out I was right. Slowly, quietly, I was becoming someone they trusted, someone they turned to. And then came the party, a high-profile event. Journalists, business tycoons, all eyes on the Liu family. Shen Mengqi made her move there. She drugged a drink and planned to blame me for seducing Liu Yixin. Classic. Old tricks. In a new setting. She laughed inside her head as I picked up the glass. Let's see you crawl out of this one, little rat. But this time I didn't sip. I handed the drink straight to her with a smile. 10 minutes later, Shen Mengqi was the one losing control. Stumbling in front of the entire crowd, the cameras flashed. The reporters gasped. The 3 Liu brothers stared in shock. And me? I stood, quietly, calmly, watching everything burn. But what happened next? I didn't expect. Liu Yichen stepped in front of me. In full view of everyone, "This is Shen Qingyan," he said. "From today, she is under the protection of the Liu family." Gasps! Whispers. Even Shen Mengqi froze, her eyes wide, her face pale, and I heard his thoughts again, loud and clear. "I won't let anyone hurt her, not again." That moment shifted everything. Shen Mengqi's power over the brothers began to crumble, slowly. The truth about her. Schemes started coming out. Liu Yuhan opened an internal investigation. Liu Yexuan began tracking financial discrepancies. They were watching her now. She wasn't safe anymore. But Shen Mengqi is dangerous when cornered. And the worst part? My stepmother, the one who always treated me like dirt, has now joined hands. With her. They're planning something. I can hear whispers, secrets, movement, but I still don't know what. And just when I thought I had gained their full trust, something happened. Something that made Liu Yichen stop talking to me for 3 days straight. Something that made Liu Yuhan glare at me with suspicion. And something that made Liu Yexuan ask in a trembling voice, "Qingyan, is there something you're not telling us?" Because there is. There's something I haven't told anyone, not even them. Something about how I really came back, and if they find out, they might never look at me the same again. The truth was, I didn't just wake up in this life with powers. I made a deal. In the moments before death, when my body was breaking and the fire consumed everything, a voice spoke to me, not cruel, not kind, just calm. It offered me a second chance, but in return, I had to carry the weight of others' thoughts, hear their hearts, live through their truths, and if I ever misused it for revenge alone, without justice, I'd lose it all, again. That's why I hesitated to tell the Liu brothers, because as much as they were beginning to care about me, I knew deep down that if they learned I wasn't normal, it could scare them. It could ruin everything. And that fear started to come true. The distance grew after Liu Yichen found a diary page I had written during a moment of weakness. It mentioned hearing their hearts. He didn't confront me directly, but I saw the way he watched me, guarded. Liu Yuhan stopped joking with me. Liu Yexuan avoided eye contact. The warmth was fading. At the same time, Shen Mengqi was spiraling. She had been exposed at the party, but she wasn't done. She forged documents, twisted facts, and even tried to bribe one of the Liu Corporation's board members to speak against me. And just when it felt like everything I had built was slipping again, a single voice changed everything. Liu Yichen. In front of the board, with Shen Mengqi smirking in the back, he stood up and said, "I don't care what rumors are spreading. Xingyan saved this company from internal collapse more than once. If anyone still doubts her, you'll have to go through me first." Liu Yuhan followed, arms crossed, smirking. "Not to mention she saved your investments, Director Zhao. Maybe next time, check your accounts before speaking nonsense." And Liu Yexuan, quiet as ever, placed an envelope on the table. Shen Mengqi's financial records, hidden accounts, bribes, blackmail, everything. The boardroom went silent, then chaos. But I just stood there, watching Shen Mengqi's world finally fall apart. The board voted unanimously to blacklist her from all future Liu investments. She was escorted out of the building by security. No cameras, no final scene, just quiet defeat. But the story wasn't over yet. Later that night, under the cold city lights, Liu Yichen found me on the rooftop of their office building. I expected him to question me, accuse me, but instead, he looked at me with something softer than I'd ever seen in him. "I don't care how you know what you know," he said, quietly. "I only care that you've never used it to hurt me." I swallowed hard. I was afraid. "If I told you, you'd leave." "I almost did," he admitted, "because I didn't understand it. But now I do. You've been carrying our thoughts, our pain, our truths, without asking for anything in return." And then he smiled, small, real. "That's not something to be afraid of. That's something to protect." The weight I had carried for so long lifted just a little. In the weeks that followed, I finally let myself live. Not in fear, not in revenge, but in freedom. The Liu brothers, once distant giants, became friends, then family, and maybe something more. Liu Yichen and I didn't rush. We just existed, together, sometimes in silence, sometimes in laughter. And for the first time in 2 lifetimes, I felt seen, not for what I could hear, but for who I was. As for my stepmother, she was arrested for embezzlement. Turns out, she and Shen Mengqi had been working together to drain the Shen family's assets. My father, broken by the truth, stepped down from his position and left the country quietly. I didn't go after him. I didn't need to. Justice had already been served, and that voice, the one that gave me this second life, it never returned. Maybe it was waiting to see what I would do. Maybe it was part of me now. I don't know. What I do know is this: being able to hear hearts is a blessing, only if you use it to heal, not to hurt. I could have used it for revenge, but I chose truth. And that truth gave me everything I was once denied: respect, love, peace. So if you ever feel like the world has forgotten you, like no one hears your pain, just know this. One day, someone will. And when they do, don't hide. Speak. Because your heart, it matters.